Davis's YouTube channel was struggling for years, and like most YouTube channels, the growth was slow and inconsistent. And despite putting in considerable effort into YouTube, it was categorized as other in his revenue reports, grouped together with failed marketing experiments. But then something changed. He implemented a strategy that helped him completely blow up his YouTube channel to the point where he was making over 6 figures in monthly revenue. And in this video, I'm gonna reveal exactly how Davis transformed his YouTube strategy. Plus, I'll break it down in such a way that you can apply these same principles to your business. But first, let me show you what Davis had to say about his YouTube journey. When I first met Davis, YouTube was at the bottom of his revenue sources. And despite his belief in YouTube's potential, he just wasn't seeing results that justified the time investment. And let's hear directly from Davis about his initial skepticism.
For the first 2 years we were doing YouTube, before I met you, we literally, when we categorized at a meeting, the revenue was so small that it was just under the other bucket. Categorized with all the other experiments that didn't work out. And that was like, we were struggling. Like, I honestly felt like, wow, we're putting a lot of effort into a bucket that literally is other, combined with everything else. I just felt like a pain. I honestly, if we didn't meet you, I don't think we would have doubled down on YouTube, which of course today is one of our biggest channels.
And it's incredibly common. I see it all the time. Entrepreneurs giving up on YouTube too early. Most businesses put in some effort, don't see immediate results, and decide it's not worth the investment. But what Davis discovered is that YouTube has an exponential effect once you implement the right strategy. And YouTube went from his worst performing marketing channel to his best. Think about that for a moment. From being categorized under other with failed experiments to generating 6 figures monthly. That's the power of implementing the right YouTube strategy. But how exactly did we achieve this transformation? Well, let's dive into the specific strategies that made all the difference. The first major shift in Davis's YouTube strategy was implementing what I call the icon method for strategic video selection. Now, before working with me, Davis was spending dozens of hours trying to figure out which videos would work. And it was like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something would stick. Let's hear what Davis had to say about this crucial shift.
First off is, it just comes down to the video selection. For us, we were just trying to figure out, okay, well, let's just try different types of videos. And the methodology that you use to actually strategically just pick the type of videos just saved us so much time, because for example, we might have just made a list of 100 videos and just say, hey, let's just do all of them. Like, we went from just spending dozens of hours a week trying to figure out what videos work, filming it, to like, no, we know which videos have the highest chance of actually working, right?
Now, the icon method is about being strategic with your video selection instead of randomly creating content and hoping for the best. It's about analyzing your niche, understanding what your audience is searching for, and focusing on videos that have the highest chance of performing well. But strategic video selection is just the foundation. And a simple way of explaining the icon method is we find videos that did extremely well despite the fact that they were from a small channel and they were either mediocre or preferably bad. And because of this, we identified that there's a starving crowd of people for the video idea. But strategic video selection is just the foundation. The next crucial element is understanding the structure and fundamentals that make YouTube videos successful. Many content creators get caught up in trying to be creative and unique, when what really matters are the fundamental elements that make YouTube videos perform well. For Davis, understanding these fundamentals was a game changer. And let's hear what he had to say about it.
The second thing that was really helpful was just the way that you thought about what was important. What was the 80-20? Like, how do we think about a good thumbnail? How do we think about a good title? How do we even structure the intro? How do we do the CTA? Like, the whole thing, it was more like, once you have that structure, you can't unsee it.
It's like seeing behind the curtain at a magic show. Once you understand the mechanics of what makes a video perform well, the thumbnails, titles, intros, structure, call to actions, etc., you can't unsee it. And the beauty is that these fundamentals don't require extraordinary creativity. They're learnable skills that anyone can master with the right guidance. But even with strategic video selection and solid fundamentals, there's another crucial element needed for YouTube success: consistency. Now, one of the biggest challenges for busy entrepreneurs like Davis is finding the time to consistently create YouTube content. And before implementing our system, creating videos was time-consuming and inefficient. Now let's hear what Davis has to say about the importance of consistency.
Then the third thing was how to actually do it consistently, because I wasn't doing it consistently on YouTube.
Consistency is absolutely crucial on YouTube. I literally cannot state how important this is. The algorithm rewards channels that publish regularly, especially when they're new channels. But consistency is impossible if creating videos is too time-consuming. And that's why we implemented a 1 hour per video maximum framework that streamlined the entire process. This means that Davis would only spend 1 hour maximum per video, and that's the entire process of picking the video idea, writing the script, recording, video editing, quality control, everything. everything. And we broke down video creation into simple, repeatable steps that could be completed efficiently without much of Davis's time. And this framework didn't just save time, it made consistency possible. And especially in Davis's case, owning a portfolio of businesses, he didn't have very much time to dedicate to YouTube. And spoiler alert, later on, he completely removed himself from the channel so that he was spending 0 hours a week on YouTube. But at first, consistency is what drives channel growth on YouTube, and there's really no way of getting around it. You have to consistently upload, especially when you're new to YouTube and you're trying to figure out what type of content your audience wants to see, what type of content you like making, what type of formats you want to use, what the presentation style you want to use is, etc., etc. It takes time to dial those things in. Another key element of our strategy was implementing a data-driven approach to content creation. Now, Davis came from a management consulting background, so he absolutely loved our data-driven approach. And instead of guessing what might work, we analyzed performance data to identify patterns, and we doubled down on what was actually generating results. Not just what was generating views, but what was actually making money. And let's hear what Davis has to say about this statistical approach.
Before, what we would do is we'd eat a little bit of everything, and then the weight would go down, and we're like, okay, what food caused it? But us, we actually looked at the numbers with you and said, it's this type of food or this type of video. It's like, let's eat more of it. In this case, let's produce more of it.
Now, this data-driven approach allowed us to identify exactly which types of videos were driving leads and sales, and then double down on creating more of those specific videos. And it's like finding a gold mine and then focusing all of your resources on digging there rather than randomly drilling holes all over the place. But the ultimate goal for many business owners isn't just to grow a YouTube channel, it's to build a business asset that doesn't require their constant involvement. Now, what if you could grow a successful YouTube channel without you personally appearing in every video? Well, some of my clients really want this. And although I do think there's a lot of advantages to having a personal brand and appearing on video yourself, there's also a lot of advantages to outsourcing that work to someone else. Mainly that it takes exactly 0 minutes of your time once you have it dialed in. And that's exactly what we helped Davis achieve. See, Davis owns a portfolio of businesses, and this particular business was a cash flowing coaching business. So it's especially nice for him to remove himself from this one. Now let's see what he had to say about his transformation.
So as I mentioned, I own a portfolio company, so I always think about how can I remove myself and be the owner and not just be the worker that has to be there in order for the company to function.
This is a crucial point for business owners. Many believe that they personally need to be the face of their YouTube channel, but with the right systems and team members, you can create a successful YouTube channel that operates independently of you. One of the most significant transformations in Davis's YouTube strategy was the shift in operations. Before implementing our systems, creating YouTube content was complex, inefficient, and inconsistent. Now let's hear how Davis describes this operational transformation.
The way I think about our operations before and after meeting you, Shane, is before we were basically trying to be a fancy restaurant serving fast food, and then now we're like McDonald's serving really good food. And that's how I think about it.
Now, by the way, I love this analogy. Before, Davis's team was like a fancy restaurant trying to serve fast food, overcomplicating the process, inefficient, and inconsistent. And after implementing our systems, they became like a McDonald's serving high quality food, systemized, efficient, and consistent, because they were giving their viewers exactly what they wanted. And by giving them only exactly what they wanted, it also made the video creation process significantly easier. So let's hear more about this operational transformation.
What I mean by a fancy restaurant is we're trying to go over the top, as in we're trying to research videos for hours to figure out what it is. We're not using best practices for the titles or anything, but we're like, hey, you know what, this worked for this other thing. Let's just try to make it fancy title. Try to basically outthink everyone else.
Now, this is a common mistake that I see businesses make with YouTube. They overcomplicate the process, trying to reinvent the wheel instead of following proven systems and best practices. Or even worse, they listen to really bad YouTube advice and just go down the wrong path. And the result of this is they spend too much time and resources for minimal results. Now, let's hear how this operational shift that we installed into his business impacted Davis's YouTube production.
For McDonald's, you know exactly what needs to happen. So now we know quickly what topics we're gonna do. There's a script writer who can write out the scripts. There is a talent who films it and an editor who edits it, thumbnails, and everything uploads. It becomes a seamless process where we can do this at scale now for multiple videos. But even before, we were just struggling to even edit one video every 2 weeks. And now we can do 3 to 4 videos a single week with the same editor
So this is the power of operational control, going from struggling to produce one video every 2 weeks to consistently producing 3 to 4 videos weekly with the same resources. And it's not about working harder, it's about implementing systems that make the entire process more efficient and scalable. Now, building on the operational transformation, let's talk about how systems create scale. With the right systems in place, YouTube content creation becomes a seamless process that can be scaled efficiently. And Davis mentioned how they went from struggling to edit one video every 2 weeks to producing 3 to 4 videos weekly with the same editor. That is the power of systems. But it's not just about production capacity. Systems also ensure consistent quality and results, regardless of who's executing the tasks. So let's hear from Davis about the impact of implementing these systems.
Our company wasn't doing it consistently because it was just hard. And you're like, hey, look, it doesn't have to be hard. There's actually a system and a process in place that you taught our editor how to do. And combined with those three things, it becomes like this machine that runs to a point where now we can have spokespeople. Of course, me, in the beginning, I would do it as just a test, but now we have a system that can continue to turn out great quality videos.
So what Davis is describing here is the transition from YouTube being a person-dependent activity to a system-dependent business asset. And this is very similar to how Henry Ford transformed the ways that cars are made. Before Henry Ford, you had to hire extremely talented engineers and mechanics that could basically create an entire car on their own. And it would take them months to do it. After Henry Ford implemented a system to create cars, you could hire normal workers that just did their specialized part, which was quite easy to train them to do, and they could create dozens of cars a day. And when your YouTube strategy relies on systems rather than individuals, you can scale more efficiently. Plus, you can maintain consistent quality and create a true business asset rather than just another task on your to-do list. And one thing I'll note here is you want to make the system anti-fragile, meaning that if one little thing goes wrong, the entire thing doesn't collapse. And that's another thing that we teach our clients how to do. But now, let me talk about the ultimate measure of success: revenue impact. All of these strategies and systems are great, but what matters most to businesses is the bottom line. So what was the actual revenue impact of implementing these YouTube strategies? Well, let's hear directly from Davis about how these changes impacted his business financially.
Even in the beginning, like just working with that first year, we were like 4x the amount of profits and revenue we're making out of our YouTube. Obviously grew all the metrics as well. And now it's like one of our channels that brings in 6 figures a month in terms of just the amount of revenue that we're seeing. And it went from like at the bottom of other, right? With all the other experiments that were running at the time to now being one of our top traffic sources.
So this transformation is remarkable. From being categorized under other with the other failed experiments to becoming the top traffic and revenue source generating 6 figures monthly. And this isn't just about growing a YouTube channel. It's about transforming YouTube into a significant business asset that drives substantial revenue. And importantly, Davis is now implementing these same strategies across his portfolio of businesses.
There's at least one company where YouTube's going to be one of our main primary, and honestly, working with you, it's just going to save years of time because it's one of those things where whenever you start something, there's a learning curve that you have to go past.
So this brings us to our final point, the cost of delay in implementing an effective YouTube strategy. Many businesses hesitate to invest in YouTube or work with a coach to accelerate their results. But what's the actual cost of this delay? Well, let's hear it straight from Davis.
If you're on the fence about working with Shane, his team, and just diving into the community, I would think about two things. First off, I would think about, are you actually serious about YouTube? Because if you're not serious about it, you can get there in any different ways. But if you are serious about it, the question I would ask is the second question, which is how much money is it costing you not to have the revenue coming in that you're seeing from all of Shane's students? As in, I would say I'm pretty average. There are other people who are just knocking out of the park even more because they're fully all in there. Just imagine the question that asked me is that, I always ask too, is that imagine that you knew that Shane can get your channel to, let's say $200,000 a month even. And right now, let's say you're producing $2,000 a month. It's costing you $198,000 per month not to work with Shane. So just think about that.
Davis makes a powerful point here. If you know a certain strategy could take your YouTube channel from $2,000 to $200,000 per month, every month you delay is potentially costing you $198,000. Now, I'm not saying every business will see these exact numbers. The results will vary based on your niche, audience, and your products and services. But the principle remains the same. There's a significant opportunity cost to delaying the implementation of an effective YouTube strategy. And this is why, if you're a business owner who wants to grow and make money on YouTube, or if you're an existing YouTuber who wants to streamline your processes and also make way more money, then go ahead and book a call with myself or my team in the description and the pinned comment below. We work with business owners and YouTubers that are wanting to scale YouTube efficiently. So book a call, we'll give you a free demo on exactly how it works, and it'll kind of be like a doctor diagnosing what condition you have and telling you what you need to do to fix it, and then seeing whether or not we're a good fit to work together. Now, what I find most impressive about Davis's story is that he's not just using these strategies for one business, but he's implementing them across his entire portfolio of companies. So if you're serious about growing your business with YouTube, I'd love to help you implement these same strategies. Click the link in the description to learn more about working with me, or leave a comment below with your biggest YouTube challenge, and I'll personally respond. Remember, every day that you delay implementing an effective YouTube strategy is potentially costing you thousands in lost revenue. So don't wait, start optimizing your YouTube channel today. And if you want to see more stories like how we got Davis's YouTube business streamlined, check out how we helped Sean scale from 30K to over 500K per month with this video right here.